Escaping was the easy part, or so I thought. For 6 years, I'd been a follower of the Path of Ash, a cult that preached purity through fire. I was young, lost, looking for a way to make sense of a life that felt pointless. They promised peace, enlightenment, salvation from the world's darkness. But instead, I found a nightmare. I remember the final night, the rituals, the chanting, the way the firelight flickered on their hollow faces. They called it the Ascendance, a ceremony meant to burn away the last pieces of doubt. But I couldn't go through with it. Something snapped inside me, and as they started the fire, I broke away, running into the dark forest, the trees swallowing me whole. I don't remember how I escaped that night. I only remember the sounds, the chanting fading behind me, the cold air biting at my skin, the strange sensation that I was being watched. Days later, I found myself in a hospital, staring blankly at the ceiling. They called it survivor's guilt. I called it freedom. But now, even though I'm miles away from that place, the nightmares still haunt me. Every night I wake to the scent of smoke, feeling eyes watching me from the dark. I see their faces in my dreams, the High Priest's hollow, blazing eyes, the way he'd looked at me as if he knew something I didn't. Last night was the worst yet. I woke up to the sound of chanting, soft, like whispers drifting through the walls. My heart raced as I sat up, glancing around my apartment. There was no one there, but the chanting grew louder, filling the room with a rhythm I recognized too well. I stumbled out of bed, heart pounding, and moved toward the door, every nerve in my body screaming for me to run. But when I reached the hallway, I saw a faint glow coming from the kitchen. I stepped closer, feeling the heat radiate out, and that's when I saw it. In the middle of my kitchen floor, a small pile of ashes was smoldering, as if someone had left a fire burning there. My breath caught in my throat, and I backed away, trying to convince myself it wasn't real. But the ashes were there, as real as the smell of smoke filling my lungs. I turned around, reaching for my phone, desperate to call someone, anyone. But as I picked it up, the screen flickered, and a single message appeared, one that sent a shiver down my spine. You cannot escape the path. My hands shook as I stared at the screen. I thought I'd left it all behind, that the nightmares and the whispers were just remnants of my trauma. But now I wasn't so sure. I forced myself to go back to bed, convincing myself it was just a hallucination, my mind playing tricks. But tonight, it happened again. This time, I woke to the smell of smoke stronger than before, filling my bedroom with a thick, suffocating haze. I stumbled out of bed, coughing, my eyes stinging. I felt disoriented, almost like I was back there in the forest, surrounded by the fires they'd lit for the Ascendants. But when I opened my eyes, I wasn't in the forest. I was in my living room, standing in the middle of a circle of ash. My heart stopped. I had no memory of getting there, no idea how I'd ended up surrounded by that symbol, the same one the cult had used to mark the chosen. As I backed away, my eyes fell on the mirror across the room. In the reflection, I saw shadows moving, twisting in the darkness behind me. I felt something cold touch my shoulder, and I spun around, but there was nothing there, just the faint smell of smoke and the ashes staining the floor. Desperation clawed at me. I didn't know if I was losing my mind or if the cult had somehow followed me. I reached for my phone again, scrolling through my contacts, hoping I could find someone who'd understand. But as I looked at the screen, I saw the message again, glowing in red letters that seemed to burn into my brain. Return or be claimed by the fire. The words sent a chill through me, colder than anything I'd felt before. I knew what they meant. I'd seen what happened to those who tried to leave, those who broke their promises. The cult believed in purity, in burning away the parts of ourselves that resisted, and I was still marked. The chanting started again, soft but insistent, filling the silence around me. I covered my ears, but it was no use. The voices were inside my head, pulling at something dark and twisted deep within me. I stumbled back to my room, slamming the door, but the smell of smoke was everywhere, clinging to my skin, my clothes like a mark I could never wash away. I don't know how much longer I can keep running. Every night, the shadows come closer, the chanting grows louder, and the ashes appear in different parts of my apartment, as if they're surrounding me, closing in. I thought I'd escaped, but the path never lets anyone go. It finds you, no matter where you run, no matter how far you think you've gotten. And now, as I sit here, staring at the ashes scattered around my bed, I realize the truth I've been trying to ignore. I'm still theirs. Bound by the ashes, marked by the fire, haunted by the whispers that will follow me until the day they finally claim me.